So here we go. No no advance warning or anything, and here I am. Well, there's one. There's two. Woohoo! Not bad for no notification. Oh, lost one.
Are you live?
I am live. What? You can walk behind me. I only have one person out there so far, and they're not saying anything.
Oh, they can't see you,
Well, they can see me.
so they know you're talking to somebody.
Yeah. I'm talking to my wife, by the way. Oh, I got three of them on there. There's Steven. Steven's my California dude. I know she's talking. You gonna talk back to her? No. You're just gonna stand there silent like, aren't you? My wife's being bashful. Good evening, Don. Hola. She's still talking to you. Thank you, Mr. Chevy Guy. I'm glad you like the content. This is a Saturday night ritual we've come up with, or I've come up with, and just shooting the breeze. What are you giggling at? My wife thinks there's something funny, apparently. So she thinks I'm funny. What's up, Kenny? Got tiny bees in your bushes. Oh, the sweat bees or the sweet bees? I call them either way. But it's about that time. Shoot, it was like 90 degrees down here today. It got warm down here in Florida. It just cracks me up. We're like midway through March, and we've had the air on most of the time through March, which just, it floors me. Man, I've been riding a two-wheeler all week, which has been nice. Get some wind therapy. Only problem is I'm going to have to do something with this. Yeah, sweat bees. Yeah, we used to have them all the time up in Missouri. Haven't seen too many of them down here. Oh my God. Now she's content. That goat beard. Yeah. Yeah, the only problem is when you're going down the road 70 mile an hour and it just kind of goes like this and it just smacks you in the face, feels like you're getting hit by pins and needles. Usually it's because of the pollen, Stephen. Some of the bushes are flowering bushes and they look for the pollen and that kind of stuff. I'd laugh if she let a big old belch out doing that for a cat. You're burping a cat. Anyway, so how's everybody else's week gone? Everything been kosher? as a dill pickle. You can walk back there and get your phone. My wife doesn't want to be on camera. Here, hang on, guys. I'm going to blind you for a minute. Oh. There we go. I smeared the camera a little bit. She's bashful. She didn't want to be seen on camera. Hell, if the camera ain't been broke looking at my ugly ass, it should be up to for about anything. Kenny, you can send me an email if you want. Would be the best way. It's the same as my crap YouTube channel. Here, I'll post it for you. Spell that right. Never claimed to be a typist, but there's the email address. That's the best way to get a hold of me. Yeah, I need to get back with Mr. Lawson too if he shows up tonight on the channel. Ran into another snag on L to the W 700 R4. So, granted, you're still seeing videos, and there'll be another one out tomorrow. Absolutely, Kenny. But there is a on the TV valve or the pressure regulator valve, whatever you want to call it. It's called a TV regulator valve. But anyway, there's a test you do with the it's another one of the wet air tests. But anyway, you check that valve, and again, the video will come out hopefully midweek if I get the rest of the parts, because that's the last thing I got to do. Anyway, it was leaking. When you pressure test it and put some air to it, it was bubbling past the valve, which means the valves wore out. So I looked into getting a replacement valve, which that's not expensive. The valve is, I think the valve was like $44. And, but then you have to buy the reamer to ream out the hole to accept the new valve. Well, the reamer is $320. I'm like, holy cow. I says, yeah, that's not going to work. So I got a whole reman valve body for it, for I think it was like $80 or something like that exchange. And it's dirt cheap. You know, I couldn't believe it. And it's already been reman, and it's done by Sonic. So, I mean, you can't really go wrong there. We'll check something here real quick. Anyway, yeah, so I found a whole valve body reman, like I said, by Sonics. The only thing, it's got some different springs you can stick in the, it's called an accumulator valve. And you can change the spring in it for different shift feel. and I want to change the spring in it. And so I ordered one of those kits. The valve body was supposed to be here yesterday, and I didn't get it. And it seems like everything that we're getting lately has been delayed or not getting shipped. And it's just killing me. I've been working with a supplier from back up home, and I used to have a guy that I went to all the time at A&, Reds, which is the name of the place that I used to get the parts from. And something happened to Bob, and he like up and quit. And yes, Bob is his real name. Super nice guy. But ever since he left, they moved like the call center to this one dude in Chicago, and they do it remotely from different warehouses across the states. And I love the guy to death. He's a super nice guy, great to talk to. But by golly, he's killing me on getting my parts. Just sometimes they'll get here, sometimes they won't, and like I said, I ordered some 4L80 stuff to fix that, Eric's transmission up, and a few little other odds and ends. And then the very next day I ordered some springs for the pump for L to the W's. Well, I got the springs, and I still haven't got the rest of the stuff, the 4L80 stuff. I'm still waiting on that. So, I hate to do it, but I'm going to have to find somebody else to be a supplier for me. Because like I said, it's just killing me not having the parts on time. But anyway, hey, if you're on here and you're paying attention, if you give me smash that like button for me, that would be greatly appreciated. It helps the YouTube algorithm send it out to more people. Thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate it so much. So, yeah, anyway, I'm getting real anxious to get that thing done because I want to get it up there and get it installed and hopefully it puts a smile on his face as well as it does mine. I've been tossing around this idea of, well, for one, I need to get a bottle of gas for my welder. And I thought about building me like some sort of test stand that I can test these things on like some sort of fixture or something like that. Chevy Guy 79. Already done what? I missed it. There's Hybrid Muscle Garages in the house, boys and girls. Texas native. Hitting that like button. Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I really do. We got up to 7. Whoa, look out. Oh, there's 8. Woohoo. Yeah, but anyway, I wanted to make a little test stand, something I can test these transmissions before I go. I know somebody's got one out there. You could probably buy one, but I think it'd be cool to build it. You ever rebuild a U fuel system? Yeah, I've rebuilt fuel systems before. I've haven't finished the one that I built for the donor yet. Like I said, I got steady doing some, other transmissions for some other people, and I got tied up doing that. Yeah, it's for a TPI. I've still got the TPI that for the donor. I want to get that thing running. Oh, you're all right. Hey, it's all native here. We're just winging it, like I said, just out to have fun, have a good time, something to gab, and do something on a Saturday evening. If you have to sit at home, I guess there's a big race going on down there in Bradenton, Florida this weekend. Halloween, pumpkin. What are you doing, bub? What are you doing? My 704 is leaking one of the most common leaks. Well, the most common leaks are the pan gaskets for sure. Pan gaskets, governor covers, speedometer seals or speedometer housing. Those are the most common places they leak. Sometimes the TV cable leaks if it doesn't have the right seal on it. The early models, they just used an O-ring, and then in the later models, they started using what looks like a top hat is what I call it, but they use those instead of the O-ring, and it seems to seal quite a bit better. But most likely it's the pan gasket. I'm going to tell you the best pan gasket you can get is one they call if you can find one of the kits. I don't think it's in Pioneer in the aftermarket, one of them. The factory pan gaskets work really well, but you can get them aftermarket, and they're called Duraprene. And the biggest thing is don't over torque the pan bolts. Make sure you got a good flat sealing surface. Make sure your bolt holes aren't mushroomed and poking up. If they do, take your ball peen hammer and flatten them back out. And then, it's not very much. The pan bolts don't take very much torque. I mean, they don't have to be like super tight. I think it's like 10 foot-pounds. I usually tighten them like 106 inch-pounds, which is pretty close to 10 foot-pounds. Had 4 neutrals. Damn it, man. Not supposed to have 4 neutrals. Hey, I just did a Colorado with an 8L45 that had 2 reverses. That was kind of an interesting deal. It tried to make its own trans brake. It was quite unique. 8 speeds we usually don't have trouble with, but that's just kind of what I thought was funny. Yeah, it had 2 reverses. You put it when it was in park and you tried to rev the engine, it sounded like it was struggling to rev, You put it in reverse, it goes in reverse. You put it in neutral, it goes in reverse. You put it in drive, and the thing would act like it's got a power brake. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, it would act just like it. You'd step on the pedal all day long, it wasn't moving anywhere. But that's like the second 8-speed failure I've had since I've been doing this, but nothing I did. I was just failed. The last one I had an overdrive planetary fail. Yeah, since I hadn't run across it, I got a hold of technical assistance. They said, we'll drop the pan, and if there's no debris in it, put a valve body in it and ship it. So like, okay. So I dropped the pan. Of course, it was full of clutch material, and it stunk so bad. Oh, it was just cooked. And I ended up taking it apart. I don't know if I can still get a picture of that thing or not. Turn this TV off. Let's see if I got a picture of this thing. You'll have to see it on my phone. I got a CVT that I'm doing now. The first CVT I've had to do. Yeah, I got some pictures of it here. That's a picture of the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 reverse clutch. And it's welded. They're welded together and have actually spun on that hub. That's what the bottom of the pan looked like. It was pretty nasty. This is the hub that it was on. Crazy stuff. Yeah, it was welded all right. Well, there's a side view of that same hub. But I couldn't even get those clutches off there. I just ended up having to order the whole hub. And this was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clutch that was in that same housing. It's a little rough for wear. So that's the housing it goes into. It's like an input housing almost on a 700, similar in design almost. All your pistons are at the bottom, and then that just houses 2 clutches. You can see the black streak in there where the thing failed. What's up, Corey? You know, they're kind of a pain in the butt, really. They go together a certain way. You know, the best one, the one I like the best, obviously, is the 6L series. I do a lot of those. They've got these strange spring compressors they use for that transmission to press the clutches in and out. And the worst part about that transmission is you basically have to put the whole top part of the transmission together on the bench, and then you very carefully slide it into the drum while you're trying to get into the output shaft inside the case. And there's some funky bearings that has to stay in a certain spot. It's got a lot of roller bearings in it, and just crazy. My phone keeps going off, and I don't know why. And I don't know why. Apparently it's nothing important. But yeah, anyway. But like I said, yeah, I've had my ears lowered for a week or two now. I needed it. Like I was saying, I got to cut this goatee, reshape it. Like I said, it beats me up going down the highway on the 2-wheeler. You know, when I'm driving a car, of course, it doesn't make any difference. You get that wind coming up your front side, it just blows it up into your mouth. Feels like somebody's taking a bunch of pin needles and just as you're riding down the highway. So, well, thank you, Mr. J. Naylor. I say that Mr., and I'm probably wrong on that. I'm probably going to get political brutalized because it's not correct. Sorry, I'm old school. I'm making an assumption too. Yeah, one of these years I want to do a Frank Beard from ZZ Top. Have that dude all the way down your chest, but it'll have to be in the wintertime. Just won't shave it for a long period of time. I'm still learning on a lot of that stuff. I mean, I'm so stinking busy. You know, my day usually starts early in the morning. I'm trying to get moving around 5:30, 6 o'clock if I make it out of bed. And I usually don't get home until 5:30, sometimes 6 o'clock in the evening. By the time I eat dinner and everything and settle down, if I've got enough energy, I can stay up and do stuff. But otherwise, my old butt's got to be in bed by around 8 or 9, or I'm a zombie the next day. And sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes I'm up till midnight because I got stuff I got to get done. But then I'm tired the whole next day. That sucks about getting old. You know, you can't do the things like you used to when you're young. But God willing, I'm still here. Yeah. Yeah, it is. You know, I kind of wonder how some of these kids get started doing this stuff. Most of them, I guess, were probably kids anyway, and they started it at their house. And, you know, once you get a huge following, stuff like that, you might be able to support yourself on it, you know, with the right deals. You know, if you get brand sponsors or something like that, that would help too. But it is what it is. Make do with what I got. So mostly the time I get to do it is on the weekends. And I'd like to get out and do some camping again, but haven't had much time for that or actual money. On another note, since I've been doing videos and stuff like that, I filled up my computer that I've built a while back, and I'm just about out of hard drive space. I've moved some stuff around, and I've got my old server from my business when I had it. It's running in the other room behind me, and I've got some room on it, but it's getting old. This is what, 20? This is 21. So that computer in my old server is 10 years old. So I did have to replace the hard drives about 4 or 5 years ago. And that was pretty easy. Corey, I have not had any rain lately. It's been pretty dry down here. Not anything of any significance. Doesn't look like we're supposed to get any till around Wednesday or Thursday next week. Yeah. I'm 20. Let's see. I'm 31 years in it, turning wrenches. I started, actually doing it for a living. I took a time off there for a while, sold parts for GM, sold parts for Western Auto. Yeah, my mom said that up there in Missouri, she still lives up in Missouri. She says they've been getting hammered. It's just been rain, which is, it's kind of typical for there. Usually get a lot of rain in the spring, and then it'll try to dry out in the afternoon and the summer months. We're down here. It could, once you're in the rainy season, it'll rain almost every afternoon down here, which kind of sucks because when I'm taking advantage of riding two-wheeler now because, now it's been kind of dry, but once the rainy season starts, it rains like almost every afternoon. So by the time you get ready to go home, you usually get drenched, and riding in the rain kind of stinks. Done it too many times. Not a fan of it. I mean, I'll do it, but I don't care for it. So never worried about tires because I usually keep good tires on the bike. I've been running Dunlops, and that's probably been about the best bike tires I've had yet. I ran some Bridgestones for a while, and I kept having tire failures with the Bridgestones. I was like, yeah, that's the last time I run them damn things. Yeah, Steven, you guys have been dry out there. I mean, of course, you guys have all those wildfires and stuff like that that roam along. And yeah, it's I can't remember what it said it was down here now. It's still pretty warm this time of night. It's 79 degrees, which again, it's pretty nice. I mean, gets warm in the afternoon, but that's all right. I mean, we're not into the summer yet. Corey, sometimes you're pulling weeds and stuff like that. That's the best time to do it because the roots are all wet and everything else, and they usually come right out. But that and the pollen right now down here, holy crap. Sinuses have been West Texas here. It's about 75. Yeah, it's 79 here. So you'll be about the same, pretty close to the same weather. Oh, a lot of pretty land in Texas. I don't know if I'd want to live there, though. Of course, I said that about Florida, and look where we're at. Hey, if you're new coming in here, do me a favor and smash that like button if you would. It helps spread it around for the YouTube algorithm. I would greatly appreciate it. Yeah. See you, Jerry. There was something I was wanted to. Oh, hey, if you guys haven't already checked it out, you need to. It's it's the RPM Act that everybody's been talking about. SEMA is sponsoring it, and it's the RPM Act. It's basically where EPA is trying to put it out there where if you've got a vehicle with a VIN number, you can't modify it. And there's far worse things that they need to be controlling rather than motorsports industry because I mean it's such a huge industry and it would kill a lot of businesses for sure. It's so important, but check it out. It's I'll put a link to it here, or I'll put it in the deal. All right, here it is. Control V. Check that out right there. Yes, that is the RPM Act. That's the link to it there, or that's just the web address right there. You can go right to it. Check it out. It's important. I mean, and the reason why SEMA is putting it on is because SEMA starts, basically stands for especially something. What the hell? I just knew what it was off the top of my head. Now I can't remember what it is. Specialty Equipment Market Association. I couldn't remember what the SEMA stood for. Yeah, I bet it is dusty out there. It's kind of funny. I bought a truck. I bought an '87 GMC from Scottsdale, Arizona, and the truck was in virtually rust free, but it almost looked like it'd been sandblasted to a point because the all the sand and everything down there, and the sun just beats everything up there too, just kind of like it does here in Florida. I think it's because Florida is so much closer to the equator, but man, it's beat up a lot of the vehicles. In El Paso, doesn't it have kind of like a dry heat, kind of like Arizona? Isn't it kind of dry like that? Even though it's in the hundreds, it's just dry. Because it doesn't get in the hundreds here usually, but it's so stinking humid. It's just crazy how humid it is down here when it gets hot, and that's the worst part. I mean, I'd rather it be a dry heat than this humidity that we get down here. But it's just part of Florida, and a lot of people love it. Anyway, so yeah, back to my computer deal. I've been looking online. I've been finding a couple of server boards. I think I'm going to put together another computer if I can round up some money for it, and set it up a little different so I got storage space. I bet it does open up your pores. So I'll probably do a video on that too. Building a computer. Because believe it or not, old Smitty here is a bit of a nerd too. I got into computer stuff quite a bit. No, I have not. We can't afford it. I mean, it's, man, $110 or something like that a ticket. I mean, I would love to go to Universal Studios. I mean, that would be cool, but at any rate, I can't remember what the last time it was, but I mean, it was something stupid expensive. I mean, and we both said that we wouldn't go. Here, I'll look it up real quick. Yeah. Universal Studios starts at $109 per ticket. Starts at $109. Same way with the Island of Adventure. Volcano Bay, I guess, is the water park there, and they start from $80 a day. I mean, that's a lot of jag. Just go to the deal. Oh, I sucked at the Rubik's Cubes, Corey. Well, people that have got money or saved it up or put it on a credit card, and we don't own any credit cards anymore, so we got rid of all them. Best thing we ever did. Anyway. People flock to it. It's about the experience of going. It's something, if you got kids, you got to do it. And if we had kids, we probably would have done it, but we don't. And our four-legged kids wouldn't care less, They'd probably go hide somewhere. They certainly couldn't ride any of the rides with us. But I mean, like I said, I would love to do it, but just not something that's pressing. Yeah, I think I may work out in the. Yes, they are. They're almost a necessity when you own a business, but man, you got to stay on top of them. They'll hurt you pretty quick. It's kind of like what is it? The Life in the Fast Lane by the Eagles. The lure was one of the lyrics on it's the lure of easy money is a something fast exchange or something like. I can't remember exactly the words right now. Yeah, right. There's a lot of times where a lot of people would just take great big coin jars, just start throwing change in a coin jar or one of those 5-gallon water jugs. My parents did that. My mom and dad, for just out of curiosity, they put them. I think it was like a 2.5-gallon glass jar that they just filled with coins, and I can't remember. They said they got like a couple $1,000s out of that thing. I mean, it's crazy. Oh. Yeah, I would. I'd love to go to a Mecum auction again. They used to have them up in Kansas City. They did the classic car auction up there in Kansas City, at one of the halls out there, and man, that was cool stuff. I don't think they ever did it at Bartle Hall. That was downtown, but they used to do it at one of the places off of Front Street. I know a lot of you guys won't know where Front Street is, but it's a big industrial district down there. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah. Yep. There were lines on her mirror and lines on her face. Didn't really care. They were caught up in a race, They're rushing around that freeway, messed around and got lost. They didn't care. They were just dying to get off. It was life in the fast lane. All right, it's coming back to me now. Yeah, Eagles are one of my favorite groups. Love music. Always have loved music. Yeah, Steven, they got a bunch of third gen stuff out there in California area too. They what paid? It was one of the. I don't remember if it was on the. Trying to get the monitor tilt down a little bit. I don't know if it was on one of the. I get a message or something like that about car meets and car shows that's out there in California. There's a lot of them. I think some of the thirdgen.org or something like that is out there. Got a bunch of car meets. Yeah, ZZ Top's pretty cool. Yep. I love all that old classic stuff, all the stuff that I used to grow up on. I still ain't completely grown up. Even though I'm 50, I'm still don't want to grow up. But my body's telling me different, if you know what I mean. But I guess I'm a late bloomer. I've all the stuff I didn't do when I was young, I'm trying to do now. Oh, man, I wish I could think of what I wanted to tell y'all. Swear jar. Man, that thing would be full of nothing flat. You put a swear jar in this house. Between the two of us, we'd have that damn thing filled up in no time. Yeah, right. For sure. Man, I can't think of what I wanted to tell y'all. I mean, it was something pretty cool, I thought, anyway. Hi, Miss Bailey. Hi, Miss Bailey. Nervous Nelly. Well, at one time I seen we had 11 people in here. Couldn't believe it. That's the most I think we've hit yet. 11 or 12. I think there was 12 at one time. Get on here and realized how boring I am, then chimed out. Yep, that's my dogs. One of them, anyway. She is a blonde retriever. Instead of a golden retriever, she's blonde. She's a mix. Super sweet. Story that the wife and I, she found these two puppies on Facebook with one of her friends, and she goes, "Oh, we need to go get." Well, she actually just wanted one, and so when I seen it, she goes, "Well, it's all the way up north." I said, "Well, how far is up north?" She goes, "It's up in Wisconsin." I says, "Are you crazy?" Well, anyway, it was the middle of winter and we went up there to Wisconsin. Holy crap, was it cold. But anyway, I seen she brought these two puppies out. She brought the one that is now called Sugar. out, and my wife was just all beady eyes. And I seen the other one that was just a fluff ball in white. And I was like, well, she's going to have a companion. So we ended up leaving with both these dogs. And so we named Bailey, which basically Bailey came from, we were thinking sugar and cream. I says, we can't name a dog Cream. So I was thinking Bailey for like Bailey's Irish Cream, and it just kind of stuck. Anyway, she's a trip. Super linky, fast. Oh, she loves to run. It's great. At least we got land out here that we can do it. Ever have a mullet while driving your third gens? Oh, yeah. Man, that was a long time ago, though. That was when I was young, dumb, and full of you know what. But I can remember helping my buddies work on theirs too, and rolling around on the ground and get that mullet caught underneath the creeper wheel. Yeah, that didn't feel too good. Believe it or not, Stephen, I don't even drink coffee. I did for occasionally when we went camping, and I just quit drinking it altogether. Usually the strongest thing I drink usually anymore, water. Occasionally I'll drink some Sprite. Or occasionally I'll take a swig of, I don't know if you all have ever heard of Blue Chair. It's a spiced rums. They've got several different flavors. They've got a cinnamon. They've got a pineapple, a coconut. The coconut one is phenomenal. Oh, it's so good. But they're all spiced rums, and they're really good. The spiced rum is really good in the freezer. However, you can't leave it in the freezer because it will freeze. It's kind of crazy, but man, it's so good. Yeah, Stephen, I used to drink a lot of soda pop, and that's probably what kind of got me screwed up as far as blood sugar and stuff like that. I used to drink whiskey all the time when I was young. My favorite together was, believe it or not, was whiskey and Dr. Pepper. It was kind of the best of both worlds. It was sweet and stout at the same time. In fact, I've got a great big old bottle of Fifth of JD up on the cabinets in the kitchen that hadn't even been opened. Corey, occasionally I'll drink some iced tea. Texas Roadhouse down here has really good iced tea. Of course, there's all sorts of companies out there that make tea and stuff like that, but occasionally I'll drink an iced tea. Whiskey sours are good too, for sure. Another drink I like occasionally is a Long Island iced tea. But if you're not careful, that thing will knock you in the dirt pretty quick. They'll catch up with you. But anyway, so one of these days, whenever I get everything rolling and stuff like that, I really want to show you all there's another one sitting right there ready to go in or out. You see the shadow right there. It's probably Zoe. Yeah, maybe they're not sitting there. It kind of looks like they're sitting there at the corner of the chair. But one of these days, I want to show you a 6L80. That transmission is really cool how it's put together, and it's very simple. Yeah, right. Speaking of which, if y'all checked out Fireball Mullet, he's got a really nice third gen he's been working on down here. His has been swapped, LS3, and it's got a blower on it now. He's got a really nice one. He's down here. It's a 6-speed car. And I venture to say he's probably about the same age as me. Maybe a little, maybe, I don't know. I can't tell you how old, if he was older or younger, but he's got a really nice one. You got to go check out his channel. Of course, you know, L to the W's got a really nice one. I'm anxious to see that. His is a 92 or 91 Z28, but it's pretty nice. It's a hardtop car. Both my 87s are hard tops, and I'd prefer a hard top over T-tops, just one less thing to leak. But if I don't get after that 187, I'm going to lose it. But Scarlett's still in good enough shape, but I just really want to get going on it. Just not enough time, not enough finances, and that just is what it is. But yeah, my Johnny, my best friend, that I've known since I was 16, 6'5" Italian, just all around cool dude. Anyway, he his 82 Z28 he had was a T-top car, and then his 87 IROC that he had was a T-top car. And he'd take them off occasionally. I can't remember if Joe's car was a T-top or if it was a hard top. I think his was a T-top. But I'd eventually really like to find a ragtop IROC. That would be just killer. And preferably a 5-speed. But, you know, if not, you know, an automatic's fine. Then got some swaps that I've wanted to do. It's all about having time and money, which I got neither. So they're just dreams right now. But dreams keeps the spirits alive. If you can't dream, then what's the point? Hey, buddy. What's happening and stuff? Yeah, I didn't do a real good job of announcing the live stream tonight. I was hoping that, you know, a lot of people just say, hey, maybe he's going to be on tonight and he'll be there. So just kind of the weekly Saturday night gab session, me rattling around about absolutely nothing. Well, yeah, I'd agree with that, Stephen. But I mean, most of the time anymore, you know, it's one of those cars. I've always liked it. It'd be fun to tool around in it. But yeah, I mean, you can do that with any of them. I mean, you can. I'm surprised more people don't get them vandalized on the newer SSs, but they seem to be pretty popular. That's the closest thing to, straight being on two wheels. I mean, two wheels is my convertible, so I'm good with that. There was a guy. Funny you mentioned that, Corey. There was another good friend of mine that I had up there. He had an '87 T-top IROC 5-speed tune port car that I got to drive a couple of times when I was young, and that thing was pretty cool. And before I lost contact with him, he had bought an 88 or 89 black. I think his had red interior too. It was black with red interior, and it was a rag top, chromed wheels. It was an automatic tune port car. Beautiful car. Oh, it was beautiful. And I haven't. I think his parents still live in the same house up there. And he might know where Corey is, but I'm sure Corey's long sold those cars. But yeah, so he had two of them, and of course his parents let him keep them in the garage, which that was nice of him. But they're coming few and far between for sure. It's like the younger generation is finding out that, hey, those aren't too bad of cars, and they're pretty cool. And Stephen, they're similar to a hatch car with just, it's got the back pocket in it, and then the top folds down and lays on what you would call the package shelf, or the hump where the gas tank sits and everything else. It sits right there. Yeah, there's a lot of, it cracks me up. When you look for these third gens anymore, how many stinking red ones are out there? I mean, holy cow, there's a ton of red ones out there. There was this gal that had a 85 or 86 Trans Am that I was eyeballing for a while. It was on Marketplace. And it wasn't expensive, but I've got too many other projects. There's no way that I could swing that. I still got projects I need to get rid of. So, but yeah, it was red with a silver bottom. And the best looking TA that I know of was like an 87, 88 indigo blue on the top with the silver ground effects. Man, that was a sharp car. But man, it seems like every time you go out and look for one, it's red. It's just amazing how many red ones are out there. Oh, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Hey, tomorrow's video, if you guys tune in, coming out around noon Eastern. It's about setting up the 2.4 servo. It's I showed you that on the 4L60E on one of the videos there, but I'd show you on the 700. So it's a good video. It's not near as long as my pump video was. Holy cow, I should have never done that. I knew that would do terrible, and it's yeah, it's hard to find yellow too. There's a place down here in Florida that's got one on Marketplace right now. They want like $7,000 for it. It's yellow with tan interior. Not a good color combination, but I mean it's there. It's an 86, and it looks to be in really good shape. Blue ragtop IROC. Yeah, I think the IROCs only came with a black top, so yeah, it'd be kind of cool if you could find one blue with a blue top, or having somebody put a blue top on it. But that would be kind of neat. Yeah, that 40 grand. Wow. That thing had to have like no miles on it and be like absolutely mint condition. 40 grand. Whew. Yeah, I remember seeing that and I cracked it up. They put all that money and they put a 350 that I get the 350 deal, but they put all that money in a carbureted 350 and they didn't get that much power out of it. Man, if they just would have took the time, they would have spent more money on doing like modified, because at that time there was modifications out you could have done for the tune port to make the tune port run better. I mean, yeah, they put her out early, but it would have been so much cooler to leave the tune port on there, because they didn't really gain that much by putting the 350 in it. That was kind of and it went backwards on the cam too. They put a flat tappet cam in it where they could have got more power with a roller cam. But yeah, I've seen that one. In fact, I've got it. I think I've got it DV. Well, it's on Powerblock's YouTube channel. You can pull it up anytime you want. Yeah, 40 grand is wow. That's steep. Now I could see that if the thing had like under 1,000 miles on it. And it was absolutely mint with the right options and stuff like that. But 40 grand for one that's got 30K on it, even though it's a 5.7. The thing about a 5.7, if it was a 5.7 IROC too, it wouldn't have had T-tops. I don't think they put. Help me out here. Did they put T-tops with the 5.7s? I don't remember. Yeah, they did. You just couldn't get one in a 5-speed. Yeah, way too much money for me too. Vanguard stuff is always high. But that guy gets some mint freaking cars. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah, I've watched that Vanguard dude, and man, he gets some really freaking nice cars in there. And being a dealer, they can get whatever money they want for them. It was pretty rare if you find one that's got leather in it. It's like that was like an afterthought, or somebody put it in there. Now my buddy's 91 GTA, his was loaded. It had a tune port. Well, it was only a 5-liter though, but it was a tune port. It was white GTA 91, which is a stellar looking car in my book. And his had tan leather interior, and it was nice. Yeah, I'm debating whether or not I want to put leather in Scarlet or not. I probably will. Yeah. Yeah, Vanguard seems to be a pretty spot on place to, if you want a good classic car. But who knows if the EPA gets their way and our powers that be that we have in office now get their way, probably nobody going to have a hot rod here after too long, or be able to modify a hot rod. I still can't see, they're pushing so hard to get these electric vehicles out by 2025. And I just can't see it. I really can't. I can't see OPEC, letting that happen. Because I'm going to tell you, the carbon footprint of an electric car when it's expired is hugely, I mean, they're not telling you the whole story. They say it's all great because they're clean. They use renewable energy, so to speak. But here's the thing. When that car reaches its end of life and you have to dispose of it, guess who's going to have to foot the bill to get rid of that battery? You and me. And the batteries are stupid ridiculous to recycle, especially, because most of them are lithium ion and they're crazy. So, I mean, there's a good upside and a downside. They're going to have just as much carbon footprint, if they're going to have more carbon footprint from those batteries that may be leaking or highly flammable or something like that, and all the electronics that are in it versus, a coal burning vehicle like what we got now. So it's just, you look at all the stuff that's happened in our media and, how they've swayed what they want you to hear. It's dangerous. It really is. It's really dangerous. They seem to be controlling, what gets put out there. That's really, really dangerous. Anyway, on another note, hey, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you should. iRockinZ87 is my Instagram. I couldn't get just iRockinZ. But we got our first diesel, Duramax diesel Tahoe in today. It was an RST 2-wheel drive, but it had the new 3-liter Duramax diesel in it, which, if you're not familiar with the 3-liter, it is an inline 6 turboed. It's coupled with an 10L90 10-speed automatic. And this thing was bad to the bone. And the best thing about this, the diesel Tahoe, is on the new ones, on the 20s and 21s, they made the dual exhaust out the back. Well, on the Duramax, they didn't. It's a single exhaust, and it's tucked up behind the bumper fascia, which to me looks so much better. The lower bumper fascia, though, is like a textured plastic, so to speak. I think it would look better if it was all painted, but anyway, I didn't get to drive it, but I did see it, and I think they either put it up on the showroom or it's already sold, one of the two. But it was the estimated fuel economy on it was 24 miles a gallon out of a big old Tahoe like that. Now, so what's wrong with that? I mean, As in what, Steven? Oh, for the 1500s? I wouldn't be surprised if they're dropping the 4-cylinder, because that thing's just worthless. I don't know what other engine they would drop. Probably the 4.3 liter, because they've had all sorts of problems with that engine too. The new ones. Rumor is that they're supposed to be doing away with the dynamic fuel management system because of all the problems they've been having with it. You know, they had the active fuel management, and then on these 20s and 21s, they come up with a dynamic fuel management where they can shut any of the cylinders off at any time. And in fact, in a certain mode, it can actually take it down to running on one cylinder. I didn't spell that right. They're dropping the 6 liter from the half-ton pickup. That doesn't surprise me. Oh, I just seen that. Oh, that's an old one. Well, they're only saying here that they're only dropping the old L76 6 liter. So I haven't, like I said, that's all I see. But yeah, Corey, there was we had a pickup in the other day that had a similar style to the IROC wheels. They don't look too bad. Man, I can't see them dropping a 5.3. That's one of their best engines they've had. Yeah, Chevy guy. That's the most common. That's the most common people, aftermarket will do is do a cam swap and do the DOD delete. That's the best thing you can do. You'll never have the problem again. Or if you get it fixed, just have somebody that's got HB tuners and disable the DOD altogether. Yeah, that's what I did too, and that's what it was showing me. I don't think I was on that page though, but as a technician though, I'm going to tell you that I'm kind of leery about all this electric crap coming. Just by it, we're going to have to work on that stuff. And I guess Cadillac is really pushing for all their vehicles, like five or six different electric vehicles coming up. And my boss already told me, he says, hey, you might want to get up on your electric vehicle stuff. I'm like, fantastic. I gotta get some water, y'all. Hang on. Water. Anyway. Yeah, I have a feeling my next big transmission failure deal is going to be the CVTs and the Malibus. Like I said, I got my first one in there. I actually started tearing it down today. The converter come apart in this thing. Man, it doesn't have that many miles on it, but short time as it come apart. What this thing was doing is you'd have it in drive, and pretty soon this thing would start rattling, and then it would start locking up, and it would kill the engine. I mean, it was just bad. And when I got it out and took the converter on the stator splines inside the converter were just all sorts of loose in there, like something broke. But anyway, it tore up the stator shaft and the turbine shaft. So I started taking this thing apart and found out there's some burnt clutches in it and all that good stuff. The fluid was black in it. But I have a feeling that's going to be my next one, is doing the CVTs. The ones that they put in the Sonics and the Sparks and stuff like that, you don't fix. That's a Jatco CVT, which I think is who makes the Nissan ones, which I think that's what this power plant is a Nissan. And excuse me. They just want you to put another one in. They don't want you to repair that one. But this CVT being made by Hydromatic, you can repair everything in it except for you can't get the chain or the two drive pulleys. That's the only difference. So, anywho, so I've done most of the rattling. What's on your all's mind? You guys got any questions for me? Oh, goodness gracious, excuse me. No questions, huh? Yep, she's out. I have Bailey down there on the floor right underneath of her, laying upside down with her legs against the back of the couch. And then just on the other side of that cat is another cat sawing logs. So yeah, everybody's starting to saw logs. Yeah, I mean, school's been back in session. They're letting, I think they got a max class size of 6, and you have to wear a face diaper. Kenny, I'm sorry. I seen your question before and I didn't answer it. That was my bad. 4L60E to 4L80, it basically is you have to add, you have to separate this, if it's 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, you have to add a harness or speed sensor harness for the input speed sensor, and you have to do a pin out in the ECM for it. And then you have to have somebody that knows HP tuners that can change the programming to let the ECM know that it's a 4L80 in there. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. 98 might be one of those oddball years as far as doing that too. My question is, do you have something against using a 4L60E in your truck? Because the 4L80E is going to add a lot of weight to it. That transmission is made to be a workhorse. It's heavy. It's kind of cumbersome. You'd have to change a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, can you not build your 4L60E to do that? I mean, you can build them things pretty stout anymore, depending on what you want to do with it. There is a deal with the 4L60 or with the transmissions in those. They had a bulletin out years ago for loss of voltage signal to the transmission, and there was an update where you move. Well, it wasn't the voltage; it was a ground, and you had to take, and it would give you the instructions and stuff like that to change and add the wire. You'd take it from one terminal to another terminal to supply the ground, and then it worked fine. Is the 4L60E is a good transmission. It really is. I mean, if you just all out prefer a 4L80, you can do that. Fair enough. I mean, you can make a 4L60E last too. I mean, if you tow a lot with it and stuff like that, of course, things are harder on it. But I don't see why you couldn't get a 4L60E to do the same job. That's just my personal preference. I mean, like I said, the 98, I can't remember what ECM's in that 98. If it's got the black box in it, I think it's got the black box in it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. So that's a different ECM. I don't remember if you can change it to the E36 ECM, like out of a 2001, with a 5.7R motor. But basically, you just have to basically pin it. And then if, let me look at something real quick. Goodness. All right, Chevrolet Silverado. Ooh, 70. Okay, so 98 is programmable. So it's the early ones you couldn't do, but 98 to 2000. What's that? 6. Okay, so 98 to 2000, you can program with HB tuners. So yeah, you could do that conversion. Like I said, you have to pin out one for. You'll have to change a couple pins around and add the speed sensor for the turbine speed sensor if it's 4-wheel drive. I'm assuming it's 4-wheel drive. Even if it is, if it's 2-wheel drive, then you'll have an output speed sensor and an input speed sensor on the same side, and you just take your output speed sensor that's plugged in for your tail shaft, and you move it to the the rear one on the 4L80, and then you have to wire in the front one because it has to have both. And then find somebody that's got a programmer with HB tuners that can do the swap. Because if I remember right, in the software, there's just a place in there where you tell it what transmission's in there. Yeah. As if it was if it was transfer case, the speed sensor would be on the transfer case, the output speed sensor. It's on the passenger side and it faces about 11 o'clock, or excuse me, from the rear. Looking at it from the rear, the speed sensor is about pointed like 1 o'clock, something like that. Good night, Mr. Fowler. Thank you for stopping by. I sure appreciate it. You know, I think about these guys that do these live streams and stuff like that have got massive amounts of followers and stuff like that, and stuff like that, and stuff like that, and stuff like that, and stuff like that. And the chat session is just going crazy. And I'm like, how do you read that stuff? Guess you could put it on slow mode. Excuse me. Y'all, I think I'm going to about call it too. I'm about pooped. I'm about done for the night. So I thank you all that have joined and came in and stopped in and said hey, and I really do appreciate it. Mr. Luther, we'll see you next week. Like I said, I got a video coming out tomorrow around noon, so y'all take care of yourself. Take care of each other. God bless you, and God bless America. Good night.